Hello, 5 of the Masters Muscle podcast. Unfortunately, Vinny had something come up this evening. We looked high and low for a replacement, and we found him the best that money can buy. And by money, I mean free. So, as always, Jimmy Mentis, IFBB Pro, as well as the man behind MyoFit, MyoLabs, and Beauty Fit. Jimmy, thank you for filling in tonight.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. Like I said before, we were off air. Once Vinny gave me a call and he goes, "Hey man, I can't make it. Can you guest host? With Sean, we're gonna have Adela Garcia." And I'm like, "Absolutely, would love to speak to Adela. It's been a long time, and get some go a little deep with her, and see what's going on."
We use the term icon and legend, sometimes a little loosely, but I think both terms definitely apply to Adela. Again, 8-time fitness Olympia. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me, and nice to meet you. I mean, I never met you before, but it's nice to meet you. And hello, Jimmy. I haven't seen you in a while, but we're in the industry, so even with the social media nowadays, we see what everybody's doing, so it's pretty nice.
That's awesome. It's good to have you. And I know you've had an amazing career in the fitness industry, and now you are an amazing promoter.
Thank you.
Can you actually say you love what you do?
Oh yeah, I can say that I love what I do. I mean, I cannot do it. I mean, if I can go back and when I was younger, and I mean, I went to college and everything. I got a degree in criminal justice, but I ended up, I got my degree because I wanted to finish college. But at that time, I was competing and I knew what I wanted to do. So I started doing personal training as well, but I fell in love with fitness. I mean, I was a little rebel when I was younger. I like to party, I like to drink, and I just one day I used to work at a military base in Puerto Rico, and I saw this flyer that they had a competition. I always like to see the Fitness America girl, and I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. I can do fitness, but I have no background. So I saw this flyer and I'm like, I want to do that show. I don't know how I did it back there, back then, but I got myself ready. I went to North Carolina from Puerto Rico and I competed in my first show and I got second place and that was it. I was hooked. This was the beginning.
And I do believe your first show here in the States, I think was in 1995. Was it the Europa?
Yes, 1995. The Armed Forces Championship.
Okay.
Which I think it was the Europa or something like that, but it was the Armed Forces Championship in North Carolina.
Right.
And Adela, you were an athlete growing up, correct? Do I remember reading that correctly?
Actually, no. All I did was my athletic background was throwing rocks, fighting with girls in school.
Okay.
It's like getting chased by my teacher at school. But I play a little bit of volleyball and softball, but nothing major. Like I have no gymnastic background, just dancing because I'm from Dominican Republic, so we grew up with a lot of music and we always like to dance. So I have a little bit of a rhythm, but nothing like that. I mean, I remember when I started training for that fitness competition, I was like, well, I'm gonna do the same thing that the girls are doing. So I mean, I had this girl, I knew this girl that she competed in aerobics competition back then. If you remember how that was, it was like super high intensity. The way that they performed those routine, it was like a 90 seconds routine, but they were super fast. So I knew this girl, and I asked her, I said, "Hey, can you teach me how to do a few things?" So she taught me how to do push-ups, a one-arm push-up, and I put a routine together in my living room in Puerto Rico, in the tile floor. I don't know how I did it. I remember like mixing music from a cassette tape thing, and I make my own music. Told my brother to add an explosion to the end and stuff. It's something ghetto, but you know what? I went there and everything matched. I remember my suit. I decorated it myself. The earrings were white. My suit was white, and my high heels were white. It's like
Wow.
I found a picture the other day, and I was like, "This is nice."
What was it that drew you towards fitness? For me, it was the muscles, right? I love muscles. Obviously, I got into bodybuilding. What was it for you that you're like, hey, I want to learn how to do gymnastics, right? It's not like you had a gymnastics background, right? You danced. Okay, you danced. Everybody danced,
Yeah,
right?
everybody did.
But you're like, okay, that's what I want to do. What was it that you said, I'm in?
Actually, it was the muscles because I remember seeing like Amy Fagley, Mia Finnegan back in the days. Always, I'm like, wow, those girls look amazing, and just their body and all those muscles was so pretty. And also, getting attention because fitness was very popular back in the days. Like, because nowadays we got so many division, but fitness was it. Like, if you competed in fitness and you made it, it was amazing. Like, and I remember doing my first nationals that was in Chicago in 1995 after I qualified, and there were like 75 girls competing,
Wow.
and I placed in the top 30, so something like that, because they were giving 10 pro cards. But those girls were amazing. I mean, Kelly Ryan was competing, Susie Carey, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. These girls,
You
and you know what? It's just like that. And then just to see how my body changed, and even though I didn't have anybody helping me. I just got a diet from Muscle and Fitness and the workouts and everything. So, I mean, I just, for the first time that I got in that type of shape, I was like, wow, this is nice because I learned how to control my body. Like, I know what to do if I want to get a little leaner. I know what to do, if I just want to maintain my body the way it is. So I just fell in love with it. And them winning, it was something that it was even better. So
Yeah, and there was some competition. I mean, you had Mia Finnegan, you had Carla, was it Carla Semple, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
Caro Semple, yeah, her too.
um,
I don't think I ever competed with her.
yeah, she was
Or
she was
Mia competed at one Olympia when she made a comeback.
Susan
But it
Curry.
was a and Susie, yeah, I competed with Susie, and I remember when I competed with her, and just getting next to her, it was like, wow, this is incredible. A lot of the girls nowadays, they don't. I get upset because I want them to understand what fitness is all about. I want them to know who were the champions back in the days, how fitness started, and the same with all the division. But with fitness, a lot of these girls, they just, I mean, even at my show, I have fitness for the first time this year, in a pro division. I added a pro division, and I love giving back. I was not sure if I wanted to do it again next year, but just seeing the girls how they reacted and how thankful they were, it was just nice. So I'm like, yeah, I want to have this again, and I want to keep giving back to the sport, and giving this girl a stage to qualify for the Olympia. So that's what's important.
So I want to fast forward a little to where it got really intense in your career. Okay. So 2003, if I remember correctly, Susie Curry won. 2004, you win.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I'm going to go deeper, but I want to know how how did
I
2004 feel like? Did you feel that like I have arrived, or I still got more work to do?
Honestly, I wasn't even when Susie retired. Kelly Ryan was competing too, so everybody, how it was back in the
Mhm,
days.
mhm.
Oh, she's the next one. She's the next one. I was placing top three at that point, and then Susie retired. So I went and did the Arnold, but the first one that I won, the first big competition was the Arnold.
Yes.
And that year when I won the Arnold, that was like, wow, this is. I mean, I just remember it like it was yesterday because I trained so uh, with so much purpose just because I saw myself winning. Like I I breathe fitness. Everything that I did was about winning that show. Like it's like sometimes people don't understand. Like if you want something bad enough, you just have to go for it. But I never went there thinking like, oh, it is in my bag. I'm gonna win it. I just went there like I'm just gonna do my best. But I was prepared to win. Um, the funny thing is, Kelly Ryan's routine, she like nobody want to go after her. So
Right.
I remember my coach Mike Davis calling me, and he goes, "Hey, because he always used to get the list and how the girls the number where they were at, and he said, "Hey, you next to Kelly," and I go, "Okay, tell me this. Am I? She goes before me or after me?" And he goes, "I think you after her, but it doesn't matter." I said, because physique round, I was always that was a strong point for me,
Right.
and with her the routine round. So, even though I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go after Kelly, I'm gonna go after Curly," I'm like, I just gotta be positive and just do my best and just go there and do what I can. And I ended up winning that Arnold, and that was insane. Like that win, like that first win,
Right.
that just take you to another level, that you have to train, and the discipline that you have to put in order for you to continue to get better.
So after the Arnold, you went back to the drawing board, or you just said, "Let me do what I do," and then you went on to win the Olympia?
Yes, I that year I won the Olympia. Before the Olympia, there was the GNC show in Atlanta,
That was in Atlanta,
and
correct?
yes, and I competed at that show. I was not in, like, I was off, and back in the days, you remember how it was, like, on the internet, people will go into this big I forgot how they call them now, like they have people were just
Forums,
computer, yeah,
forums.
the forum thing, and they were people talking like, "Oh, she was off, her legs were not hard enough, all this," and I just took that, and I used to have a step mill in my garage, and when I used to live in Chicago, and nobody even talked to me. I was just in my own world. I just got myself ready. I prep, and I went to the Olympia that year and I won, and it was like,
Yeah.
it's like I say, like that was it.
That
you
was
know,
2004.
yeah, 2004 was the first one.
So 8-time Miss Olympia.
Yeah, and
8 times.
five-time Arnold.
You win your first one. You don't win the second one.
I know.
How do you come back and win 4 more, 3 more, right? Was it six, 7, 8
Yeah, well, 2005 I lost
to Jen?
both, yeah, the Arnold and the Olympia. And then 2006 I came back. 2007 I won again, and then 2008 I tore my ACL.
Right.
So I
Okay.
had to take a break for that year, and then I came back 2009 all the way to 2013, and then I
Okay.
retire.
See, this is where I don't understand, and that's why I'm asking these questions. Okay. How do you? This is great. Like Sean, the whole thing is great for me. I love it.
I love it. Yeah.
As much as everybody else is. So 2004, you Miss Olympia. Okay.
Yeah, 2004 was
2005,
the first one. Yeah,
right.
2005 I
2005, Jen comes around. You lose. Whatever it is, whatever happened, right?
yeah.
How do you set yourself up again to come back around 2006, 2007, 2008? Now you had the same competitors. Like,
Yeah.
did you just say, "I'm done, no one's going to touch me," or did you just take like 1 year at a time? Did you study their routines? Did you study their bodies? What was your approach, or did you just focus on you?
Well, I just honestly, like, I needed to just focus on myself for the most part, but that when I lost that year, it was hard, like, because once you win, you get a taste of winning. It's like, you don't want to play second, you don't want to play third, you just want to go there and win. And we are human, so we expect that since we were the champion the year before, that we're gonna win again. So it was tough, but I used that as a fuel, and I just came back in 2006 and I did the Arnold. And I remember when I got there, like, one of the judges said to me, "It's like, good comeback," because I just prepped my routine. I remember being in Fort Lauderdale at a Gold's Gym, and one of my girlfriends, she said, you you lost. I mean, she said it in a bad word. She said something else. I don't want to repeat that. But she's like, let me help you with a routine theme. You should do Scarface. And I'm like,
Nice.
that sounds kind of cool. So she helped me out with music and everything. And Alti, I don't know if you know Alti Bautista from
Yeah,
Jersey.
yeah.
So she, you know how she is. She's
Mhm.
gangster ghetto, and so she's like, let's do this and put this in your routine. And she keeps sending me stuff, and that routine was. I mean, I
Yeah.
tell you what, like I just practice and I just focus, and that's it. Because when you're an athlete, you just gotta focus on what you need to do. And I learned that I don't need to keep looking at what anybody else is doing. It doesn't matter. um I just need to focus on myself, because that's the only thing that I can control. The way how much I practice, my rest, my training. It's just that's the only thing I can control. Whatever anybody's saying or what they're doing, I can't.
Right. But it's so hard, Sean. Think about this, right? Bodybuilding, double bicep, right? But when you have different routines and you have different girls
Yes.
doing different tumbling acts, right? How hard is it to refrain from saying, I'm gonna do that even better?
Yes.
But Adela's saying, like, she stayed on her plan. She did her own routine. Because me, I would like say, hey, if she did 2 backflips, I'm doing 3 backflips. Right?
Well, I ended up I took some gymnastics classes, and I learned. I mean, I learned a lot of things. Like I was able to round off back handsprings.
Oh yeah.
I was able to do back tucks, but at the same time, it's like when you're doing that next to these girls that have been doing that for their whole entire life, like I struggle. And it was sometimes if I didn't get it right, and sometimes it didn't look pretty, and I had to kind of stay away from those skills, because I said that's not me. So I just gotta come up with skills that I can do. So with my choreographer, and I just started learning different like aerobic skills that they're more strength based. Um, Perfecting my strato jumps, things that and making sure that the routine was clean, so that way when I was executed, it's just like that's what when you do a strength move, it has more value than doing a back tuck or a back handspring. That's what they don't understand, that fitness is not about gymnastics. Fitness is about bringing your skills and making sure that you are perfect doing that routine, and it's clean, and those moves are you execute them perfectly. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's it.
Your routines were always entertaining, and it always had us on the edge. It's like we don't know what was coming next. And the music, everything was like, wow. I remember that. I remember almost all of them.
Yeah, it's like at this nowadays, I was talking to a few of the fitness girls, and I was telling them, I said, you guys need to, bring that music up, and you need to, kind of like if you're doing something, just do it right. Just don't go there and through a routine with one music. Like nowadays, these girls they're doing routines with one song, and it's kind of boring.
Right.
Not even, no matter how hard their skills are. It's like it's one song. You just keep listening to that song, and it doesn't wake you up. It's like, okay, you cannot see it. So the routines, they have changed a lot, back from the way they were when I competed. And from what I understand, they want them to continue to be, they like the fast paced routines, those, they look for 4 moves. So 4 mandatories that the girls need to incorporate in their routine. So it's the middle split, high kick, the push-ups, and
Push-ups.
then the straddle hold.
Right.
That's what they need to do. But like, it's not about the gymnastics. Those moves, what I tell them is like, you make those moves even harder. Like when I started doing those plyo push-ups, that was like one of my main skills. So a lot of the girls are trying to do them, but I mean, I had to make them perfect in order for nobody to be able to do it like me. So, but that's what I did. I just focused more on the skills that I was able to do, and learn skills like my choreographer Renzo. He competed in aerobics, and he was incredible.
I
And
remember Renzo.
Yeah, and he had no in his routine. He had no backflips and nothing like that, but he was so good, like able to flip around, doing different things on the ground, and he taught me a lot of stuff. So,
Adela, as a fitness competitor, what percentage is actually spent in the gym per se versus practicing your routine?
As a fitness competitor, I mean, if you're starting out, so you got to put like 50-50 because you have to develop your physique. But, when I was, once my physique was to a point where it was there, I don't needed to put any more muscle, just maintain what I have and just come in really good shape. I spent more time practicing my routines than I did training, with weights, like just strength training. And that I don't see that a whole lot nowadays. I think a lot of the girls, they don't spend that much time because you can see it when they perform. Their
Mhm.
routines are not they're not as sharp like they used to they used to be, because we used to spend time, like I will be practicing for 4 hours.
Wow.
It will take me 6 months to put a routine together, coming up with a theme. Every year I try to learn a new skill, so that takes time. So always something new.
And is it tough finding that balance of musculature where when you look at someone like Jimmy, who's an open bodybuilder, he can be 240, 260, 300, doesn't matter. Whereas a fitness competitor, I'm sure you don't want to be too muscular.
Well, I mean, they ended up getting pretty big nowadays. Like I wanted to do a comeback back in 2020, and I started training, and I keep looking at the girls, and I'm like, wow, I don't know. And it happened that I have a full tear, a massive tear on my supraspinatus rotator
Okay.
cuff. So I tried twice. Like in 2020, I started train, but something was not right, and I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't do my skills the way I used to, especially the push-ups, that it was my signature move. And I always told myself, if I cannot do those the same way or even better that I did it, I'm not gonna go do it, come back. I'm not gonna embarrass myself. So then in 2022, I tried to do it, come back again, and then that's when I finally went to a doctor, and they're like, yeah, that's not, you cannot repair that. You need a new shoulder. So after
Okay.
that, I'm like, I'm done trying this. I think I got a good run, and all these girls now coming up. I mean, the thing I can give back to them is just help them out as much as I can. And there's a lot of girls nowadays reaching out, and they want for me to help them, and I think that's what's important for me.
Do you remember when you guys had to wear the full black
Yeah.
t-shirt?
Yeah, we used to have
What did
four.
you feel about that? And do you think that that was a good move? And do you think they should bring that back?
Honestly, I think that they should bring that back. The 45-second routine, because it kind of shows those skills. So it tells you, hey, this is the skills. This six, they used to have six mandatory. So you got to be able to do the middle split. You got to be able to do the straddle hold, the pike hold. So it was a little bit more structured than it is now. So fitness just went through different changes. So then, remember, we got the 45-second and the one piece. We used to have 4 rounds. So then I think they took the one piece. So
They
they
took the
took
One
it.
Piece out.
Yeah, they took the one piece out. Then they kept the 45-second, and then the 2 minutes and the two piece. So that way it was like more weight on the routine rounds than the physique rounds. So then they took away the 45-second, and then they just kept 2 rounds. And now they, at one point, they just took the physique round from the NPC, just from the amateur level. They took the physique rounds,
Right.
and they just did the routine, and then they brought it back again, because what I felt like it didn't make sense when they did that, because if you turn pro, then you basically have to wait until you develop a physique in order for you to compete. And this is bodybuilding. So whether or not people like it, there always is going to be more weight on your physique. So that's what these girls need to understand. It doesn't matter that the routine is going to weigh more. If somebody comes in and they have a beautiful physique, and the routine is, they can perform, and it's a nice routine, it's well put together, they're going to place ahead of somebody that, they're not in shape. You can win a Miss Olympia like that, like, because that doesn't represent fitness. This is a physique. You want to see somebody that looks nice, that they have put work in, and if they practice their routine is hard enough, they're going to get in shape.
Right.
Just that's how I did it. Like every time I got into the hardwood floor, I'm like, oh, my abs are back.
Sean, she used to go into, I remember because we used to train at the same gym. She used to go into, I'll be walking into the gym, saying my hellos, take me about 45 minutes till I start my leg workout.
Yeah, say hello.
Yeah, my leg workout. And then she would go with Renzo into the aerobic room and they'll be in there for 4 or 5 hours.
Jeez.
Like, I mean, it was like, we're talking about soaking wet. They just keep going and going and going. Like, I literally saw Adela put the work in.
Yeah.
And it was like work. It wasn't like, it was, I mean, Renzo was very good. And the work she put in was, and I kind of knew the routines, because I was
because you watch everything.
Yeah, but it was kind of different because you see them put it all together because they would piece it out,
Of course.
And then you see it on stage and like, wow, man, she really put in that work. And people think it's like 2 days of work.
Yeah.
No, you gotta start. It takes time, and it takes time to put a theme together. I mean, I like that. That's the part of the routine. Every time after one show, I was already calling Renzo, okay, what is our theme for next year? And we just start putting stuff together. And then once you see the end result of everything, it's just so cool.
If I didn't experience what I experienced with Adela, watching her get ready, put the routine, I never would have thought to say, okay, hey, these girls put a lot of work in it. And
and especially you have to develop new skills too. Like you cannot just keep doing the same thing over and over. You have to get better. You have to, that's one of the things I love working with Renzo was because he's always trying to teach me new things. Like, and the way that, he puts the music together, it sounds professional. It sounds nice. It's not just one song. There's 3 different, I had to send him 20 songs.
Oh, wow.
So, and honestly, there will be parts that you don't hear. And I said, did you use that song that I sent to you? He said, yeah, can you hear it? And then I had to listen to the music over and over again. Yeah, because everything is just all these sounds and the sound effects. And it was so much fun. So, I just wish that they should bring, I think they need to bring that 45-second back. And also, just one thing that I wanted to suggest was for them to do it like they used to be in back in the days. The rule was that you have 3 changes on music for your routine. And so that way it was not just a boring one song for the entire 2 minutes. So
Jimmy,
good.
I was going to say, I'm sure it put a whole new perspective when you're practicing your personal routines, your 30, 45 minutes, whatever time you spent, and I'm saying, wow, I'm suffering, but now looking at Adela 3-4 hours later.
Yeah. I'm posing in 1 minute, I'm soaking wet, and Adela's still there 4 hours later,
No, actually, but bodybuilding, honestly, I don't know. That's a lot of monster right there. I remember talking to Aris Kyle backstage, and I'm like, I don't think I can do that dieting part of it. Because with fitness, I was able to get away with a lot of things. I was able to cheat more. I will be eating cornflakes, getting ready for the Olympia at nighttime. And I just keep getting harder and harder. And it's like they will look at me and hate me, I'm like, but it's just because of genetics too, that plays a role. But the routine practices, I used to spend so much time just with my routines. I will come home and then I'm not done yet. I will go up to my cardio room and start doing flips and making sure that I get the things that I needed to get. So
your metabolism must have been very fast again, doing all that aerobics for hours upon hours, I would think.
Oh yeah. Whenever your body is in prep like that, you just want to eat everything, but not like you can, but it's just like your body's just burning and burning and burning.
Yeah.
You mentioned something like you had to keep, you want to keep you would want them to keep things fresh. Okay.
Yes.
So let's go back to 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013. Okay. How did you keep everything fresh?
Just like honestly, Renzo, we just had to come up with new things. And, at that point, like there was Oksana was coming up to the ranks too. And she was right on my heels, man.
Yes,
I'm
she
like,
was.
that was the only person, like my mom even used to say, she's like, the only girl that me da miedo, makes me scared is
Yeah.
the girl from Russia. She goes, the Russian girl. And I said, I know, mom. And but I was never with Oksana. We developed such a good relationship, and she was always so respectful, and just the same, we respected each other. That I in my heart, it's like, if I'm gonna lose to anybody, if it's Oksana, I'm cool with that. And it happened in 2012. Actually, I went to Spain, and at the Arno in Spain, and she won. It was kind of hard because it was right after I won the Olympia in 2012, and we went to Spain, and then she won it. And I'm like, wow, what am I gonna do? What happened? But it was, the Arnold and the Olympia are two different shows. So, they might like somebody else at the Arnold, or and they might like somebody else at the Olympia. But with Renzo, we always try to, just keep things fresh, learning new skill, bringing new music. But it was at one point that I was just getting hit a lot because people kind of got tired of me winning. Every time I was like, oh, she's win again. And sometimes I used to read the forums and see what people say. And I remember, like, no matter what new skills I brought in, they will always have something to say.
Right.
So it was to the point where I'm like, you know what? Like after 2013, I just, like, I don't know. I just think this is good for me now, just to step back and just go in a good way. It's 8 Olympia. I think that was my goal, just to, like Lihaney, just to rank it like that. But
At
yeah.
what point did you feel your legacy was growing? Because you have a legacy. You
Well,
might
if it,
you might be humble and know that, but you know that you have built a legacy.
well, it
Where
was,
did you feel that?
it was about 2003. I just started getting more recognized in the magazines too, and it's like every time I did a photo shoot, like people didn't understand back in the days, like they will see you in a magazine and they would think, oh, they paying you a lot of money for that, right?
But you were also GNC too, right?
Yeah, well then,
For
I
performance.
got, yes, I got sponsors, and things started to look nice. Like I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So then when those years, like being in the magazines too, like when somebody saw you in the magazine, I would start getting clients as well. So there was a lot more out there. Like nowadays it's social media. Back then was, the real thing. You get the magazine, you see yourself in a magazine. That was big. Like walking through the airport, you made a bunch of covers too. So you know how that feels. I made one cover in Oxygen, but it was like, wow, this was good. And NPC News, and then I did another cover for another magazine in Europe somewhere. But like here, I got Oxygen, and then I got a little picture on Flex, but that was okay too. That's good.
That was the
That was
cover.
good. Yeah,
That
that's
was
the
the
cover,
cover.
right? Yeah,
Can't be picky.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it was, all those things. I took advantage of that because a lot of people will say, but you don't get paid for doing this. I mean, getting photographed in the magazine. And I said, doesn't matter because I'm making money regardless. Somebody sees me in the magazine, I'm getting clients, I'm getting people that I can train. So, I started building my business. And then in 2011 was when I got my first show. Well, no, I promoted a show in Chicago. I did it for 2 years. And then when I moved to Texas, 2011 was when I started promoting again.
Did you have to? Did you kind of start all over from Chicago to Texas, or you kind of took the same, you know,
No, I have to start
blueprint
all over.
all over?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was married, I got divorced, and then I moved to Texas. And, it was like my life was a little messy at that point. That's when I was living in Florida with
Mhm.
my friend. And then I just moved to Texas. And then once I got established here, 2011, that's when I got my show. But I moved here to Texas in 2006. So
Jimmy,
once,
Jimmy, we were talking a little bit offline about promoting. I don't know if you want to ask the same question we asked offline if about promoting.
Which one was that?
yeah, promoting.
You enjoy it.
Oh, sorry, man. My mind's just going because I got so many questions, and I'm trying to control myself so I won't talk all the time. So here you are promoting now, right? Is this something that you enjoy promoting? Is it something like is it the promotion side of the business, or is it because you actually created a platform for the athletes?
Well, it's both. It's business too. But at the same time, I felt like once I stopped competing, the only reason why I wanted to do it, I decided that I wanted to do a comeback in 2020, it was because I kind of like got away from everything. I mean, I was still promoting my show, but I was just going through some personal mental issues. And then I just kind of got away from everything. Then I finally, when I decided that I wanted to do a comeback, it kind of helped me out because it took me away from, what I was going through and kind of put me back. Because once you stop competing, it was like I didn't realize how was affecting me, because I just like kind of lost my identity for a few years. I didn't know like how people are gonna see me. Like I always thought, well, I'm only Adela, I only have friends because I was Miss Fitness Olympia, because when you're on top, everybody wants to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real. Like that's just the way it is. Everybody want to be around you. Everybody want to talk to you. So I had to learn that in the hard way, that there was only a few amount of people that they were going to still be around once I start competing. So with the show, that actually helped me out a lot. I got a really good turnout on the events. I remember one show, like we broke about 500 athletes.
Wow.
And we had to, we got to move venues. So that back in the days, it was on that year, I think it was 2012. Then they started adding more shows in Texas. So now there's like 20 something shows here. So it is. I get a good amount of athletes every year. But I just feel like you have to be out there. You have to give back. You have to get more involved. And I'm just thankful for the opportunity to promote, because that's the only, another way to be out, to be in the scene as well.
So I was gonna, so Adela, people that are listening that understand the mechanics of sponsoring a show, promoting a show, do you, the individual, pick the venue, or does the federation say, listen, we'd love you to host a show in a certain city, state, or is that your choice as a promoter?
Well, no, we have a chairperson who basically they're gonna be in charge of all the events. You have to make sure that you stay within your dates every month, every year. So
Mm-hmm.
that way, because there's so many shows now, like my month is June, and there's probably 3 shows in June. Now that I added, and the pro fitness division is a little bit, I gotta stay within my date, because there's other pro fitness shows too. So that way there's still more shows for the fitness girls to compete. But no, I pick my own venue.
Okay.
The dates, I have to stay within my date. So it's June. So I had to keep the same, just maybe a week before, a week after. But it's just, no, I pick my own venue. So I started in a high school, and then it was too small. So I had to go to the convention center. And then, so now I'm actually looking for a new venue because they don't have the day available for next year.
You mentioned the show had 500 competitors. Were you surprised, or is that what you were expecting, or what were your thoughts when you saw that number?
No, I was not expecting that. It's just like back then, we were waiting for the entry to come in the mail, and then you also, like, the day of the check-in, you will have a bunch of competitors that just come in and do a late check-in.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think my first show, the first one in 2011, I'm like, man, I I only have one competitor because I only got one entry in the mail. And I was like, I remember telling Renzo, I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I only have one competitor. And then like the week of the show, all these mail comes in. Like the first year, I think we had over 200, and then the second year, it was the year like we had to move venues because it was too much. Like everybody was going nuts. I remember the shirt person he was at the show, and he's like, okay, don't worry about it, because all the athletes were getting mad, and because it was so hot outside too, and we couldn't let them in. So yeah, after that we had to just leave that venue and then just go and find a bigger place. And it's hard in Texas because we only have a few places that we can use for shows. And
Sure.
it's just in Austin, there's so many events going on in the summertime. So but I love promoting. The one thing I don't like is getting sponsored, like, because you have to like hustle and call people, and like that time people are like, yeah, I call you back, and then you never hear from them, and then they ghost you. Like, I just learned that word not so long ago. What does that mean, ghost? Oh yeah, that's what they're doing to me. They're ghosting me now.
Yeah, well, now with the internet, now you can find them.
Yeah, I find it, but it's just hard. Nobody
You
wants
know.
to. When I was with GNC, they used to send us tons of stuff, and that was nice. But like nowadays, it's so hard to get people to
Those
sponsor.
people aren't there anymore at GNC.
I know, that's the only thing. I'm like, I gotta hit everyone, but I have created a good relationship with people, so I have people that they continue with their loyalty and they keep supporting me. So that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Creating relationship with people and respecting their stuff, and getting their
Where,
money.
how do you feel? How do you see? I know it's everybody gets this question asked. Even Sean asked me this question, right? I'm going to ask you. Um, where do you see the fitness division going? And I'm not saying this in a bad way, like, okay, you guys were the shit, and now we're just trying to fix things, because
Yes.
there are some amazing athletes now. Okay, but where do you see this going from the promotion side, and what would you like to see changed? Okay, and where do you see on the athlete side, and what do you think they need to improve?
Honestly, I see fitness can continue to be going strong. It's not going as strong right now as because like we have all this the new generation nowadays. I just feel like some of these girls, they really don't have no idea. They want to compete, but they don't know, even to not just only fitness, to any division. It's like they don't do their homework. It's like everybody don't take the time to do research anymore. It's like what they see on an internet, on Instagram. So everybody just like, okay, I want to look like that. So
But,
I'm
but
but
let me interrupt you here for a second. But don't you think that is because of the criteria has dropped? The judging has dropped. The expectations have dropped.
no, with fitness, I think it's just they made so many changes. Like, went from 4 rounds to 2 rounds, then I mean to 3 rounds, then
Right.
2 rounds, and in the amateur to just 1 round. So I said it from the beginning, like some of these girls, they don't want to diet. Okay, they just want to perform. So do you want to have a big Miss Fat Fitness Olympia? I mean, like,
Right. Right.
seriously, like I mean, we gotta be honest. Like, this
Right.
is this is physique. You want to be in shape. I don't want to go and see somebody flipping around like they're not in. I mean, it's nice when somebody's in nice shape and they're doing. I mean, that's what was attractive about fitness. So that's why you see the top girls nowadays are continue to be the top girls, because they get it. So they continue to show up in shape, and they continue to create good routines. But um with fitness, I just feel like the girls, they just, for example, when I decided to put on my show, there was a few complaints about why are promoters putting the shows the same day with another show? Because I guess Toronto has fitness, but I didn't know. Like I was just excited to given the opportunity to have fitness that I was not looking at who is promoting fitness that weekend or anything like that. So, and a lot of the things like the girls were not even promoting it. So that's the reason why I kind of was a little bit upset. Like I said, I'm putting all this work because, as you know, the sanction fee for fitness to put a pro division is a lot higher than a amateur show.
Mm-hmm.
So then you got to everything is double, even for one division. So that was for the longest time. I wanted to put it at the fitness pro division, but I was like, I don't know if I don't get a sponsor for the sanction and the prize money, then it's gonna be hard to do. So whenever I was given the opportunity, and I did, like I have Liquid Sun Rays, they sponsor the sanction, and then I have Missy Trusco, who is the current Miss Fitness Olympia champion, two-time Miss Fitness Olympia, and she came down here. She put the prize money. She made the beautiful trophy, like a custom trophy for the
Oh,
first place. Yeah, she came to Texas, and like we were talking, it's like we need these girls to be pushing my show. Like for me, I got 9 girls on stage, but I was expecting them to be more. You know, like we are giving $6,000 in prize money. Most of the other shows they don't give that because we don't. The promoter don't have to give that purse. We are allowed to give 3,500, but if we can give more, we can. So, that was the only thing that we just feel like we need the fitness girls to get more involved. So if there's somebody that was competing before, we want to try to push that show. We want to show up. We want to support them as much as we can. But it's just that's the only thing that, I was talking to somebody and they told me like, hey, these girls, they really need to start pushing fitness a little bit more and supporting the promoters that are putting on fitness because if they don't do so, this is going to be a division that's going to be forgotten.
right.
And it's honestly it is, it's not, that's just the way I see it. Like if we don't see something going and the shows they're showing up and putting in more work, I fitness will be something that is not going to be around.
Let me ask you a question. You've seen all these posing workshops pop up everywhere. Here in Florida, there's one every weekend. It's all bikini figure. Why haven't we seen any fitness workshops?
Well, the fitness, the workshop is for all the division,
But
and
there isn't
but
any.
but the problem is that Jimmy, nobody, the girls. I mean, we got other divisions that are a little bit easier. So unless you to compete in fitness, you really have to have a different mentality. Like this is something that I really want to do, and it is somebody that had to come from a performance background. They used to be a cheerleader and they just they had to get it because even so there's a lot of the girls that come from those background, they think because they can flip around that they are going to win, and that's not it. You gotta because a lot of the gymnasts, if you see their performance, they just doing one pass and they stop and then they do the other passes. That's the thing that the judges didn't like. So I want to see everything that flow. I don't want to see you stopping. That is different. That's gymnastics. So with a lot of the girls, they just need to get it. Like this is a bodybuilding a physique competition too. So we want to see the whole thing. And I mean, I try. I go to a lot of the workshops, and I got in a few girls that have done fitness.
Adela, these workshops are all about posing. I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one workshop or been involved with one workshop that will take the 4 or 5 girls and go to the aerobic room or go somewhere else and show them the strength feats, right? Just show them how to do the the split squat or the split whatever those 4 mandatory exercises are, what are they poses are, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of that.
Well, the all the workshop, every time we do them, we talk about all the divisions. But the thing is, we don't get anybody for fitness. That's the problem.
Right.
It's
Right.
not like nobody's trying. It's just they. I mean, when I go to, I just make sure every time I go to a workshop, I always talk about fitness and I show them, hey, these are the different moves that we have. I actually started putting some seminars together that I'm gonna do through the year next year. And on the seminar, I do more just imposing. So we will do all the divisions, and I just like to talk more about fitness. So
Right.
I have a few of the fitness girls that live around here come in, and they will, like one of the girls that competed at my show was getting ready for my show. So she came into the seminar and she showed all this stuff, and she was in good shape too. So it was perfect. Um, and from that, you see some of the other girls, like when they see that, they're like, oh, so I didn't know about that division. It's just we have to be more mindful of reminding people that there's still a fitness division. Like this at my show, it was awesome. Like those girls, they were amazing. Like that brought my show to another level. I mean, just to see my banner, me on that banner, and the girls competing on my stage, that was awesome. And people, they loved it. They didn't even know that there was that division, because it's just you don't get that many people anymore. That's the problem. Nobody wants to do the hard work like that.
So now you're retired. You're promoting your show or shows, soon to be maybe shows. Isn't it kind of weird when somebody comes up to you and they don't know who you are?
Oh my God,
And
that's
then the person
crazy.
next to you actually knows who you are. And the person
Yeah.
who doesn't know who you are is looking at the person that knows who you are and like, what am I
No,
missing?
well, no, the funniest thing is every when people are saying, I'm gonna do the Adela,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Adela. And I remember at one of my shows, I was getting ready, carrying ice, and just because when I'm at at my show, I'm just working.
You gotta
I'm
do what you
not
gotta do.
there like,
Yep.
yeah, well, I'm just hustling. I'm
Yep.
working. So one of the girls that was there, volunteer, she just looked at me, and then she looks at the banner, and she looks at me again. She's like, "Is that you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, is this your show?" And I said, "Yeah, it's oh my God." But it's just like but a lot of people, like, I will be backstage, they don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And like, you need to, and those are the things that I get upset nowadays, because when anybody comes to me and they want to train for anything, bikini, figure, I always tell them, you need to do your research and
Hmm.
tell me who was the first bikini winner at the Olympia, like what they're looking for, who are the current, like you got to do your research. You
You
have to
gotta know your
know.
history.
Yeah, exactly. And
You
that's the
gotta know your
problem.
history.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you got to have respect for the sport, because honestly, this is not something that was given to us. We got to work for anything. Like promoting is not, that was a gift. I earn it. And, now I take this, and I just, every year you grow just like you grow as a competitor, you have to grow as a promoter, because there's a lot, like now it's like, you got to compete kind of with other promoters somehow. So you got to make your show to stand out somehow, so you can get your athletes to come in and treat them well. Because without the competitors, we don't have anything. So
How's the camaraderie down there with promoters?
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. At one point it wasn't, but it's everybody just,
Because
uh
Texas is booming.
yeah, Texas is, I told you, yeah, that's what happened. Like a lot of people, oh, they saw the amount of athletes, and not for nothing, but we just get really good athletes. Like the shows, when we get athletes that they go on and they go ahead and get a pro card
Yeah.
right after they compete. I have girls that competed at my shows, and they just go and get a pro card right after. So the quality is good. So yeah, Texas is there's a lot of competition here.
So what's in store for Adela Garcia for the next 5 years?
Well, next year I'm adding a natural show.
Oh,
It's gonna
nice.
be in conjunction with my show, so it will be a 2-day show. So, and just continue to promote. I would like to get into judging in the future.
Really?
Yeah, but I think about it and then I say, I don't know. When I then, but because I've done it before.
Don't listen. I'm not going to say anything bad, but they put me at a judging table once,
Yeah, you like it? No.
and I was like, first of all, I was horrible. Okay,
We are the worst,
Well,
right?
I think you'd be brutal, Jimmy. You'd be brutal, I would think.
Here's the thing. I had to follow the system. Okay,
Yeah.
but by me looking at them though, I knew exactly. I had top 5. Okay.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to. I had to be a judge, and I had to follow the system. Go to the rounds, do and all that. Well, the person who won, I had 4th. The person. This is after prejudging. Thank God, right? After prejudging, and I had 4th. The person I had winning is 2nd. The person. I mean, I was all over the place. And after prejudging, I looked over, and I'm like, am I that off? And I just ripped the papers up, and I went, boom. I wrote it down, and I passed it along, and I was spot on. Like I would ruin someone's career.
Yeah, no, and I judging I judge a few times. It's not so bad. It's just you got to be fast, but it's like you have to learn because you just go. And I feel like some of the divisions, like bikini, I think is super hard. When you have somebody that come in and all the girls look alike, like I was watching the Olympia from last year, and I'm like, oh my God, how are they even doing this? Because there were 40-something girls that qualify, and they all look good. I'm like, how can they even be? Oh my God, it was like must be so hard to judge. So
I think at that point you're looking at the body saying, okay, what's wrong with it instead of what's right with it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So judging fitness is a little bit easier. Too bad like they don't have that many. Like with the girls that were competing at my show, I was an exact. I was. You can tell from the way when they walk on that stage, you can tell. But yeah, I don't know. I just want to continue to get more involved in the sport. Especially having the natural show with my show next year, and then just having that and see where it goes. Just continue to get more involved. I mean, 5 years goes like this, especially now that we get older. It's like what happened? What?
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, like it's not. Yeah, it just time just goes super fast, but just continue to be involved, and I'm getting a lot of girls that want for me to help them, so that's what I want to do. Just continue to give back.
That's me. That's the biggest reward.
Yeah.
When they come up to you and they say, "Hey, can you show me this?" I'm a sucker.
Yes.
But I'll drop everything and I'll talk and show, and sometimes I overdo it. I give so much information to get confused.
Yeah. No, but it's I think it's important to stay involved in our sport, especially we know that we've been. I mean, how long have you been involved in this? I haven't seen you for a while either. I think I tried to hit you for your supplement company, but you didn't answer me. But that's okay. I will try you again.
Did you ghost her?
No, as a matter of fact, I think I have to tell you, you hit me up when that whole Texas area was not doing well.
Oh yeah, there was.
I didn't want to be involved. I'm like,
yeah, I remember that. No, that's good.
Because that supplement company he had, I built.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, remember back in the States? Yeah, I remember that. No, I get it. It's fine. No, it's all good.
So Adela, you're a gem. You're a gem in this fitness in this industry. You're well loved. I love you.
Thank you.
And Sean doesn't know you personally, but I know he definitely appreciates you and what you've accomplished. And
thank you.
We wish you all the best. And if there's any way I can help you in any way I can, just reach out. If you want me to sponsor your show, I will sponsor your show on record. I'm on record. Okay.
That sounds good. I just want supplements to give the athletes. You know how we used to give those baggies when the check-ins, and it was just nice. They appreciate that a lot, A lot of the competitors, I think it's if you're gonna put something on, I believe, especially promoting, if you're gonna do something just like competing, you gotta do it right.
Right.
You cannot do things halfway. You want to make sure that you're taking care of people, and I have to learn that. And I mean, even with the other shows that go on here in Texas, like I learn from other promoters, like just to see how to make my show even better each year. You know, so that's just the main thing. It's just the more that the show grows, I mean, you grow as well. So that's the main reason why, once my show continue to do well, then maybe, I get another show and
Absolutely.
just continue to do that.
Would another show be a headache, or would it be easier?
It'll be easier. I had a show in Puerto Rico
Oh yes, I
for a few
remember.
years. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's just Puerto Rico. It's hard. I mean, I give Tim Garner a lot of props because it was just
Yeah.
no matter what, it's like it's just so hard to get a lot of athletes there because that island is so small. And I remember going and after my show, getting like 200 and something competitors going to Puerto Rico for that first show, and I got like 30. I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible. It was so bad. But I tell you what, the conditioning of those athletes, it was amazing. Like they were so shredded. I don't know if it's the heat or what, but they were all looking sharp.
Let me tell you, athletes down there work.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
work.
Adela, as we wind down, I did have a listener want to ask a question. Which Olympia win was the most important to you?
That's a good question.
Um, the 2013. It was my last one, but it was the most important for me.
Did you
I
know it was
had
your last one?
hmm?
Did you know it was your last one?
No, I didn't know, but it was just like I was just I kind of grew as an athlete, and like Renzo used to get on me a lot about, mentally, preparing for a competition and not worry about anybody else and just doing what you need to do in that aerobics room and practice, and then go in at that stage and block everything. Because I used to get very, very nervous, and whenever you're on that top spot, I don't care what anybody says, nobody likes you. That's just the way it is, and nobody's your friend. The other competitors, like, oh no, we're friends. Whatever. Stop talking that BS because you know that you just wanted to
Yeah.
get on that spot. So, I had to deal with a lot of stuff like that where all these girls were already like when I lost in 2012 in Spain. I can see the energy of all the girls, like they were kind of happy, they were glad, and because of that, I went to the 2013 Olympia, and like that was my best performance, and it was sharp. I didn't miss one thing, and that was for me. It was a double win. So it was important for me because I remember just not letting anything get through my head, and I just went and performed the best I could, and uh,
If you could predict the future, do you think someone will break your record? Because the next are Oksana and Susie at 4, and obviously you have 8.
yes, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
No, it's just I
No.
mean, it's too hard nowadays. Like I just don't see it happening. This there's so many injuries nowadays too with the girls. Even with Whitney, like she had won 3. And Oksana retired and she came back. But it's not even the same. Like you have athletes like Missy. Like Missy just brings a lot. Like she brings a physique and then the routine. Like she can be bigger and she can be smaller and still she can look good. Like I said it before, I think Missy can be one of those girls that can win multiple Olympias. She can win a few more. I don't know more than that, but I just like what I can predict is for her to continue to do well. And she's young too. She's only 34 years old. So that was when my first Olympia. I was 33 when I won my, excuse me, when I won it.
I think there's too many distractions now. You know, to be Miss Olympia, Mr. Olympia, you have to go down that hole.
Yes.
Okay, when there's no light, you
Yep.
have to go to a very dark place, and you can't come up for air because once you see that blue sky, it changes, right?
Yes.
And while you're down there, get it done. You're in a good, even though you're a dark place, you're still in a good spot, all right?
Yes.
And there's too many distractions now to stay down there, and plus too many distractions for anybody to go down there. They go down to that hole, and that's why I don't think we'll see multiple Olympia winners. Even with the men, women, figure, bikini, I don't see anybody. I mean, look at Phil, and Phil just came to the Phil Heath was at the beginning of the social media,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yes.
and he held on. He held on as long as he could.
Yeah, I think social media is like, when I started to come back around again, I'm like, wow, I felt like I was in another world, because everything, like, I remember when I used to train, I have no time to film myself or anything. Like, I never did. Like, I have nothing to post, because even now, like, if I try to do a little post and I'm at the gym, I wanted to come back again. I remember doing it calls the Mr. Olympia takeover for Instagram, like the whole day. You had to post everything that you do. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired. How can people do this all day long? Like,
No.
until the minute that I went to bed, I had to keep posting things and this and that. I'm like, oh my God, this is too much.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that it's right. There's too many distractions nowadays, and a lot of athletes, they just don't want to do whatever it takes to get to that spot. Like, it's just a lot. It's even bikinis. Like, I have clients that I train that compete in bikini, and that's a lot for them. I'm like, oh my God, you're not doing much. You're just doing cardio and training. That's like a normal day for me.
That's off season.
Yeah, it's like a normal day for us. Waking up, do 30 minutes of cardio, and go and do your weight training, and just eating healthy. It's just, as we get older, it's part of our life. Like that, I don't know. Like, I just cannot be without doing some sort of exercise or eating some healthy foods. Like, that's just, I don't know how I cannot operate that way.
Ask Sean. I'm in the gym. As soon as we finish here, I'm going to go train for 2 hours, and I'm
Good.
already 4,000 calories in.
That's good. Wow, that's a lot of calories. I don't think I ever had that many, unless I was having a cheat day.
That was be a couple meals, right? What was your?
Yeah.
I know we're running short here.
It's
So
okay.
your best cheat meal after a show.
Honestly, I don't think it was after a show. I think it was every time, like, I went to see Mike. When I live in Illinois, I used to drive to Ohio to go see him,
Right.
and he allowed me to have a cheat meal after we trained with him. And I remember driving home, I will stop by Chipotle and I will get 2 of those big burritos.
Oh, geez.
I mean, like, because I used to have one cheat meal once a week, and that was like the best. It was not after the show, because after the show, you're so excited, especially if you won. Like, you just don't want to eat. Like, I just wanted to call people and tell them that I won, so I could stay up all late. But it was in between. Like, one time I remember, like, I had a free cheat meal, and I was driving home from the gym, and I went to this Whataburger place, and I was looking in my car and I didn't have any money. I'm like, I need some money. I need to get a burger. And my ex-husband had made me a $2, a ring with the $2. You know how to make those little rings with a dollar thing?
Uh-huh.
I took that and I went and got myself a burger. But those ones were the best. Like, after shows, I will eat a whole cheesecake. But
think about it. It's you want the cheat meal when you can't have it, and
exactly.
then when it's all over, you look so good. You're like, I don't need it.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
It's like, it's always whenever you're dieting, and so this is.
Adela, it's truly been a pleasure and an honor. Is there anything else? I know we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. Is there anything maybe we haven't missed as we wind down? Any announcements? Anything else maybe we haven't missed?
So when's the show?
Well, I don't know. It's gonna be June of 2024. I'm looking for a venue right now.
Okay.
So we were gonna have the fitness pros again, and then we're gonna have the regular show, NPC show, and then we will have the NPC natural show. So it's gonna be a 2-day show. Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's gonna bring a lot of value to the show, especially with the natural athletes. There's a lot of other federations out there. I just think it's going to be good for the NPC to add more natural shows, because there's a lot of athletes that they really think that they have to juice up in order to compete, and they don't understand that's not it. I competed, and I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I have to use some stuff, whatever, but there's just so many. I didn't know a lot of things about taking any kind of drugs whenever I started competing, and I got myself in shape. So that's just an excuse, and it took me a long time in order to get my body to where I wanted. It took years of training, like training and training, and going back to the drawing board and then going back again and just doing my homework. Didn't happen overnight.
Right.
And I just feel like now it's you see all these girls, like, it's not pretty. And I think adding more natural shows is going to help, because we need these people to stay away from thinking that they need to get on a lot of different stuff that in order for them to compete, because that's not it. They don't need to. So I'm excited about it. And, I'm just getting all my stuff starting right now, getting ready. My show was 3 weeks ago, and I'm just planning up.
Very nice.
I was like getting my dates, getting my venue, and then go. And then I will hit you up. I will be on.
Yes, do that. I'm in.
Yeah, remember, Sean, remember what he said.
I'm on record.
This is recorded. This is recorded.
Yeah, I'm on record. I think by next June, I have enough product to send you.
Oh, sounds good then. I like that.
In 2025, we'll have the Mentis Classic, right?
They won't give me a show. That's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
Adela, where can people find you? I know there's a couple of different Instagram.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're clones or which is yours, which is not, but please, where can people contact you? Everything along those lines, please.
Well, I have Miss Fitness 08. It's right there. That's what I have. And then I have 8-time Fitness, Olympia Adela Garcia. And I also have the NPC Adela Garcia Classic. So that's the one that I've been kind of pushing out a little bit more. What happened is that my Fitness 08 got hacked, and then I ended up creating another one. I got it back, locked everything in. So yeah, just the NPC Adela Garcia Classic. I think that's the one that they can contact me. So, but thank you so much.
And Jimmy, you have a couple yourself. Where can people learn about you and contact you for stuff?
Jimmy Mentis one, Beauty Fit, Mile Labs. It's just same old stuff. I haven't changed. It won't change.
Yeah.
Adela, it's a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. I wish you all the best.
Yes.
Thank you so much. It was good to see you, Jimmy, and thank you, Sean. It was nice.
Adela, it was an absolute honor and pleasure. And for everyone listening, next Wednesday we have Cheryl Mears, female bodybuilder, heading to the Masters Olympia along with Vinny. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the night.
Thank you.